Well, welcome everyone to what's an extraordinarily exciting interview for me. I'm here, would you believe it, with two archbishops. I think it's the first time I've ever done an interview or had a conversation like this with two archbishops at once. And we've got Archbishop Foley Beach, Archbishop of the Anglican Communion Worldwide, and then we've also got Archbishop Bob Duncan, who has shared at the Sing Conference this year. Archbishop Beach shared 2 years ago. And we are honored to have you two guys and to learn from your wisdom today. If you're completely new to what we do, I'm Keith Getty, and my wife and I, Kristen and I started writing hymns in the year 2000 as a response to trying to find a spiritual sung grammar for the 21st century that brought depth and a sense of congregationalism and even historicity to what we do in our church worship. In the providence of the Lord, the first hymn was called In Christ Alone. We started an event called the Sing Conference, and the Sing movement is really bringing together pastors and Christian leaders alongside people involved in church worship and worship leaders, alongside people in the creative arts, to say, how do we enrich our congregational singing and our church worship? And one of the privileges for us has been to work with the Anglican Communion and learn so much about their rich history. I'd always had a distant appreciation for liturgy. I went off to university in England. I was at Durham and I was struggling with faith, but I was studying choral conducting with James Lancelot, who was the conductor of music, director of music at Durham Cathedral. Previous to that, he was famous for all those organ arrangements he did on the David Wilcox Christmas carols that are now iconic. But I would go to Evensong each week, and I remember in the darkest and most lonely times of that season at college, how Evensong brought a sense of peace. In part, it was the beauty of the singing. In part, it was the beauty of the scriptures. But in part, it was also the shape that liturgy gives a service, and ultimately that gives our life.
We Anglicans certainly want to thank the Gettys and all the team that surrounds you. I mean, again, your passion for singing the Lord's word and singing the Lord's truth and bringing more and more of the Christian community together to sing and to make a joyful noise to the Lord. You've been part of the blessing that we've received, and we just want you to know how important your work is as well.
It wouldn't be fitting to talk to Anglicans in 2020 without making a quick reference to J.I Packer, who was so well loved by almost everyone who goes to the Sing Conference. He was very generous with his time and encouragement. I said I would not be a hymn writer today if it wasn't for knowing God, because even reading the subject page, I remember sitting, just having worked through the book and going through the subject index again at one point, and it triggering with me, how many songs do we sing on each of these themes? And realizing that the sheer logic with which he'd done it, well, it was so brilliant that I realized that over 2/3 of the subjects we were singing nothing about. And so I remember that moment very clearly. And as I said, we've got this wonderful, we're so honored and thrilled to have this video this year that all of you can watch and share and hear his thoughts, his further thoughts on life, on faith, on devotion, and on worship, which I think will be helpful for any pastor, any worship leader. It's been an unprecedented year, it's been said many times, between coronavirus and also issues of race, issues of economics, and peculiar issues to North America at this time. What is exciting you as you look forward? Sing Global, as we have started Sing Global, to be with believers from the persecuted church, to be with believers from around the world. It has been there's been just so countless encouragements really on what the Lord is doing around the world. What are you seeing in the global south and around the world outside of North America that's encouraging you?
Well, I'm seeing, I mean, amidst the persecution, amidst the suffering, amidst the devastation that so many are experiencing, their faith is so strong, and they view the world so different than we do in the West, and their faith really is the center of who they are, and they see everything through the eyes of the Lord. I sense that even in the midst of this struggle and the turmoil we're facing, the Lord is working in people's lives, drawing people to Him. And I hope here in the West, we're laying the foundation for when we get out of this COVID thing to really explode with the gospel because the Lord is setting us up for an incredible, unprecedented opportunity to share him and to reach people for Jesus. And just along Archbishop Bob's comments, the depth of what you're doing with music is incredible. So thank you for that. It's really helpful.
Well, thanks, guys. And can I just say, it's a privilege to get time with you guys today, but it's a privilege to, because your schedules are just extraordinary. And secondly, it's a privilege to be able to partner with you in a small way with Sing Global. Sing Global began, as all of you know, this year because of coronavirus. And it took the Sing movement. And we always prayed for three things. We always said by 2025, we would love the Sing movement to be deeper, to be connecting in a way with people each week, and to be global. And in the mercy of God, the coronavirus has made all three of those things happen in fresh ways. This year is that we've got talks from Archbishop Duncan. You will be able to access Foley Beach leading us in the Matins from 2 years ago, as of October, where you're going to have access as a registrant of Sing Global. You're going to have access to every talk, every concert, every worship service, interview, for your own time or for your own church to do so. And then as we go forward, we're hoping to be learning each year a little bit from you guys. Next year is called Sing Through History, which is a history of hymns. The following year is prayer. 2022 is prayer and liturgy, which we're excited about. 2023, we're looking at Revelation and the nations, and hoping to work and continue as we go this journey of learning from our brothers around the world. And then 2024 is called the Hymnal and the Psalter. And so each year, I think we're going to have more to learn from you guys, and it's a privilege to, in some small way, be allowed to walk this journey with you. Thank you for your work. Thank you for your leadership. And thank you for the inspiration you've given us all today.